Our biggest radiotherapy machine, we call this machine the DMX. It has capabilities that are more advanced than all the other machines that you're going to see. So this machine here is a multi-energy machine. It can produce what are called photons that treat deep-seated tumors. It can also produce electrons that treat cancers that are on the surface. And then the electron energies are also like multiple energies. I think we have 4 electron energies and 2 photon energies on this machine. Then over and above that, it's got what are called multi-leaf collimators. So this one is 120 leaves. So what these leaves do is to shape the treatment field according to the contour of the tumor. You know, the diseases or cancers can grow in odd shapes. And so you want the field of radiation to fit whatever shape you are targeting of cancer. So these leaves move independently such that you can adjust them to fit the shape of the tumor and then block off all the other normal tissues that you don't want to irradiate unnecessarily. So that's what this machine can do. This was the machine that broke down the last. Broke down 31 January 2022. It had been single-handedly carrying this department for about 2 years before it eventually packed up. So it's been fixed. I can't give timelines as to when it will be up and running, but I hope that we are nearer to it being up and running than where we've come from.
So on a daily basis, how many patients used to service?
Right. So on a daily basis, when all our machines were functional, we'd have about 20 to 30 patients per machine.
Okay.
Yes.
Was it something that met your backlog or your...
It did. We actually had very reasonable waiting times compared to other Southern African countries when our machines were up and running. Normally, from the time a patient was told you need radiotherapy to the time they would receive treatment, it was just about 2 weeks, which is a very acceptable waiting time. Because when you look at public institutions in South Africa, for example, they were talking about waiting times 3, 6 months, 9 months, and we just had 2 weeks. Yeah, so we're hoping that these machines will be up and running.
Next chairman.
Through the chair, what do you think is able to enlighten us about the timelines for fixing this machine? What do you think is responsible for giving us the timelines?
Right, so we are working with the engineers who are working on these machines are coming from South Africa. They were here just 2 weeks ago and did a lot of fixtures, but there were some spare parts that were still missing, which they then ordered at that time. And so they needed to be imported from Europe. They are on their way. When those parts arrive, they will come back and do the final work to finish these machines. So it's a lot of people who are involved in the chain that eventually leads up to these machines working.
So these spare parts, have they been paid for? Is it just a matter of perhaps fixing? Or we still owing from the top there?
There's a service contract that was signed for these machines. It was signed last year. So that service contract covers fixtures for 3 years. So these engineers are working within a service contract, which should cover us for 3 years.
Because we worried, because at least if we could get somebody who was going to tell us that maybe it will take 3 weeks. 5 weeks, because everyone is waiting and worried about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What you were saying?